An Afghan man waits, smoking, beside a pile of stretchers outside emergency hospital in Kabul, Afghanistan, on Saturday, Jan. 27, 2018, following a ambulance-borne bomb blast earlier in the day in a busy part of town. The attack left dozens dead and more than 150 wounded. Chad Garland, Stars and Stripes, Kabul, Afghanistan. At least 95 people were killed and more than 150 were wounded on Saturday when an ambulance packed with explosives was detonated in central Kabul, officials said. The explosion was the third high-profile attack in Afghanistan in a week, and the deadliest this year, highlighting the fragile security situation in the country, more than 16 years after a U.S. invasion ousted the Taliban from power. The vehicle made it past a checkpoint in a heavily secured area near the capital's Siderat Square, about a mile from the U.S. Embassy and NATO's Resolute Support headquarters, before being stopped at a second checkpoint, where it exploded. Basir Mujahid, a spokesman for Kabul police, said, "It was lunchtime and many people were in the street. Most of the victims are civilians," Mujahid said. "It was a terrible attack that killed women, children, shopkeepers and visitors to the area." Day on Panic, a coordinator with the NGO Emergency, which operates a nearby hospital that treated victims, described the scene as a massacre. Central Command Chief Gen. Joseph Vittel was at the Afghan Defense Ministry in Kabul when the bombing took place, reporters from the Wall Street Journal and Defense One who were accompanying Vittel said on Twitter late Saturday. Vittel and his traveling party were not hurt and have since continued onward. The Taliban claimed responsibility and said the bombing targeted a building used by the Interior Ministry and High Peace Council, a body set up in 2010 to negotiate with insurgents. A number of police officers were killed or wounded, a statement by the group added. After the attack, dozens of people waited outside the emergency hospital for news of their loved ones, including Mohammedullah, a young travel agent whose friend was missing. "Our government is doing nothing for us," Mohammedullah, who like many Afghans uses just one name, said. "People are living in fear, they can't go to their jobs. Instead of getting better, it's getting worse day by day, and the attacks are getting deadlier." Officials expect the death toll from the attack, already one of the highest of the war, to rise. The deadliest attack happened last May, when a truck bomb attributed to the Taliban-allied Haqqani network exploded near the German embassy in Kabul, killing over 150. The U.S. has recently increased airstrikes against the Taliban and other militant groups in Afghanistan in the hopes of breaking a stalemate and getting the insurgents to the negotiating table. After a recent visit to Afghanistan, the U.S.'s ambassador to the United Nations, Nikki Haley, said the aggressive policy was working and that peace talks were closer than ever. Afghanistan's chief executive Abdullah Abdullah condemned Saturday's bombing, calling it insane, inhuman, heinous and a war crime. "We will bring its perpetrators to justice and take necessary measures to avoid such barbarism in the future," Abdullah said on Twitter. Tadamichi Yamamoto, head of the United Nations Assistance Mission in Afghanistan, said in a statement that the vehicle used in the attack may have been painted to look like an ambulance, and not an official emergency vehicle. While the Taliban claim suggested the purpose of the attack was to target police, a massive vehicle bomb in a densely populated area could not reasonably be expected to leave civilians unharmed, the statement said. NATO vowed to stand with the Afghan government, following the explosion. The blast came 3 days after militants affiliated with a local branch of the Islamic State group attacked the Save the Children office in the eastern city of Jalalabad, killing 3 staff members and 1 soldier. 4 days before that attack, a group of gunmen stormed Kabul's Intercontinental Hotel, killing at least 22 people, including 4 Americans. Chad Garland and Zubair Babakar Kyle contributed to this report. Wellman.philip@stripes.com. Twitter, @PW Afghans crowd outside emergency hospital in Kabul, Afghanistan, on Saturday, Jan. 27, 2018, following a ambulance-borne bomb blast earlier in the day in an area of the city teeming with people. The attack, which comes 8 days after a high-profile siege at the Intercontinental Hotel here, left more than 50 dead and 150 others wounded. Chad Garland, Stars and Stripes. Chad Garland, Stars and Stripes.